dysfunctional vat. These are the negative lines. They come up and they go into position 1, position 2, position 3. And these are off of the panel, so it'd be panel 1, panel 2, and so forth. In this position right here, we have a complete circuit. The power comes, the positive comes over here and runs through our amp meter, which has not yet been put on. And from the amp meter, it goes ahead and goes to the load, and then it will be coming back through this wire right here. When it's in the test position, and this is closed right there, then what happens is when we hit the selector switch, we can test panel 1, panel 2, panel 3 with the load running through the amp meter and through the voltmeter, which we have not yet received. That's on order. It's supposed to be here somewhere around mid-April, which had I known that, I would have gone with a different company, but I can't do anything about that now. So the positive hooks onto the positive, the exitine positive hooks onto the exitine positive and goes over to the load, and we're able to measure the number of amps going through the meter. This positive will also connect to the voltmeter, and the voltmeter connects to the negative, and that allows me to measure the volts that are in the system when using the selector switch, which will be up here. I hope that's about as clear as mud. Something else I've added is I've added a 12 minus and a 12 plus right here, and I'm getting ready to hook those up. So let me show you how I swedge on the leads for a wire, so that in the off event you need to do this, you can see how this clown did it, and maybe you can copy. The first thing I do is I grab onto this, and I hold it with a pair of pliers because I don't have the strength in my fingers to otherwise hold it. And I run a pair of needle nose, these are needle nose, just inside. Now if you look, maybe you can see that, part is smaller and part is larger, and I want to grab onto the large part, because if you grab the small one, you're grabbing the metal. And now I just pull, and the insulation comes off. Now we're halfway there. This is a lamp that I want to put in. It's a 12-volt lamp, and these wires are exceedingly small, very, very tiny. And it's very easy to rip the cord like so. The white one is going to be the positive, the black one's going to be the negative. So the next thing I do, I use one of these. There are other types. I mean, you can buy whatever you want to use. This one is bent slightly. Pull it off, and we have our wire. Now we do the next one. Pull it off, and we now have our wire. Now we're ready to hook it up to that piece you just saw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to twist these wires. The reason for twisting them is to make them slide in a little easier and not come apart. When the hair is loose, these loose hairs, a lot of times they can be difficult to get inside. Now, I locate this piece, which was not so easy to find, and I slide it in here like this. There are different ways of doing it. This just happens to be the way I do it. I grab onto this very carefully. There's a little halfway deal in here, and then I crimp down on it. Normally I crimp just all the way across. I'm trying to make this where y'all can see what I'm doing. Alright, you see I've got that in there, and then I crimp this back just a little bit. I grab a little bit of solder paste, just a bit. Got some dirt into it. Didn't want to do that. Then I take and I put the solder paste right on here like so. Next thing I do, take a pair of pliers, grab onto the tip of this like so. I turn my torch on. I press the lock button to hold it. Grab my, actually I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to grab onto the wire. I start to heat the metal. Put my solder on there. Get a little fire, and it's soldered on there. Just that easy. I'm going to play this back, and if it took, great. If not, I'll do this next one for you to watch, and then we'll call it quits for the day. With this 12 volt system hooked up now, we'll be able to put a lamp in here, and we'll be able to monitor this at night should we ever need to. Now granted, I don't actually anticipate ever needing to monitor this in the nighttime, but we have that option available to us now. I just have to put a switch in here to turn this on or off, and then connect this to the side somewhere wherever I want it, so that I'll be able to see all the functions that are going on, because this pump that I have is capable of pumping at night. Just a matter of putting that option into work or into use, which I have not yet done. In here we have a meter which tells us exactly how many volts we have on the battery, which right now is 12.0. Sometimes it'll be up to 13.6, which is fine because there's a solar panel that charges it. Right here we have a JVR timer which kicks in and kicks out. It turns the panel on when there's sunlight on the panels, and it turns it off pretty much when the sunlight falls off of the panels. That's just so that the thing isn't sitting there trying to cycle and constantly resetting. It's to put a save on the electronics. Now this JVR timer is a good one. It can handle 110, and in this case it's pushing 24 volts DC. I have this wiring scheme in here which I'm not going to go through. I'll do that later. I think I've already done it, but if I haven't, I'll go through it later. I'll explain how everything's set up. So by having that 12 volt lamp inside there, in the off event that I ever needed to see the amps and the volts and all that good stuff, I would be able to see it with some white light and not have to rely on this green LED. So this is this panel right now with what I've got, and all the feeds come in through gland packings on the bottom, and these gland packings come from Amazon. You can look them up, just type in gland packing. If life for humans was that easy. Making bedding so he can lay down is what he's doing. Okay, anyway, these gland packings come from Amazon, and my leads and stuff come up right here. And for right now, this is a temporary, sorry, dog's distracting me. This is a temporary setup. These whites, there's 3 of them, are going to be hooked up to, I had forgotten, one of the whites is a green, a white, and a white. This represents my 3 panels. And the black from across the driveway, and the panel that's on the side of the pump right here to catch the morning sun. These all come in and are all tied together. When I get this completely finished and up and running, you'll be able to see more of what I'm doing. Dysfunctional vat out.